Hello, my lovely mystic souls, and welcome back to my channel. As Halloween approaches, the veil between the worlds is thinning. It's time when many people feel drawn to spells and rituals. But before you dive into the cauldron of magic, let's talk about something important. It's about what you should not do during this powerful time, especially if you are new to this world of occult and manifestations. Halloween, or Samhain for those who follow the pagan wheel of the year, is the time when the barrier between our world and the spirit realm is at its thinnest. It's an incredibly potent time for magic, but that's exactly why caution is needed as well. The energy around this time is very intense, and if you're new to this, you might unknowingly invite energies you're not ready to deal with. Remember this: you do not want to be driving a car at full speed on the highway without knowing how to brake. So, first up, the spells and rituals that you should avoid doing involves summoning the spirits and entities. Well, yes, I know it's Halloween, and you might have seen some movies in which they use an Ouija board or some sort of spells and rituals to summon an entity. And you're quite inspired by that to try it out in real life. Well, I do agree that around Halloween, calling upon spirits can sound exciting and even spooky fun. But for beginners, summoning spirits, whether through Ouija board or seance or any specific invocation technique, is a major no no. You never know what or who you might end up calling. Spirits are not always what they seem, and once invited, they may not leave easily. So trust me, you do not want the trickster spirit crushing your Halloween party. Next up, we have blood magic. Blood magic is a very powerful form of magic, and these days I see a lot of YouTubers recommending you doing blood magic and scores of techniques and ritual recipes available for it online. Perhaps you plan to use blood magic for your spell around Halloween to make it even more powerful. But remember this: as much as it is powerful, blood magic is an extremely risky form of magic that ties your physical and spiritual essence to the spell. So, for beginners, it's way too advanced and it might have unintended consequences as well. When you use blood in a spell, you are giving a part of yourself, your life force, and that's something you should never do lightly, especially if you're just starting out. Around Halloween, there are some sort of blood magic which also involves spirits, entities, and also your ancestors. Your blood might be used as offering to your ancestors. And this kind of magic is extremely powerful. If you do it and you make a mistake, then in place of your intended spirit or your ancestor, you might unknowingly attach yourself to an entity with which you're not ready to deal with. So remember this: during Halloween, keep your blood inside your body. Okay? The next type of spells that you should not engage in during Halloween involves hexing or cursing someone. Now, I get it. You may have someone in your life that you are completely mad at, and Halloween feels like the perfect time to seek a little magical revenge on this person in your life. But here's the thing: if you make a mistake and you attempt to do some sort of advanced hex or curses, which would be dangerous, especially as a beginner, then it might rebound at you and it will rebound at you drastically, causing harm to you and your loved ones in ways you may not be able to control. So, before you attempt any hex or curse, please make sure you understand it well, or at least maybe avoid the time of Halloween to do such spells. When gone wrong, the karmic debt that you create by these hex or curse may stick with you long after the spell fades. So, unless you feel like you are the lead character in your own personal horror movie, leave the hexing to the professionals. And as I already said, it's better yet, just don't do it at all around Halloween. The other type of spells that you should avoid during Halloween involves spells that involve other people and you're using some sort of entity help to manipulate the other person, particularly if it is love spell. Now, love spells in general sounds very harmless spells, and they indeed are, particularly if those spells are only meant to attract the love of your life towards you. However, if you decide to manipulate someone's free will, creating an unnatural attachment with you or even an obsession with you, and you also intend to seek entity or spirit's help for this, then you might be setting up yourself for a disaster. Have you watched the movie Dark Spells where black magic goes wrong? That movie perfectly sums up what I'm saying here. If you have not watched that movie, then do go and watch it to get an idea of this particular point. You might end up binding yourself to a person in ways you never intended, leading to unhealthy relationships or emotional chaos or complete disaster of your own life. And honestly, do you really want someone to love you because of a spell? Or do you want the person to genuinely care for you? If that's what you're seeking, then maybe you can just remodel your love spells to attract the love of your life instead of manipulating someone's free will. Another type of spells or rituals that I would recommend you avoiding during Halloween involves the midnight spells, particularly those where you would be using a medium for scrying purposes. Many a times, a lot of spells involve mirrors and you doing certain activities in front of the mirror around midnight. For instance, a very common and very popular spell involves if you want to know the face of your future partner, you might around midnight light a candle in front of the mirror and eat an apple while combing your hair. And in the mirror, you might see a reflection of your future person. However, around Halloween, you might even see the picture of a demonic entity. Or perhaps you're trying to know about your future and you want to use some sort of midnight ritual and a scrying device, particularly a mirror or a crystal ball, to know what lays ahead in your future. So these kind of things are best left to be done during the daytime or the day after Halloween, but definitely not during the midnight of Halloween. One thing to remember is all of these precautions are for those who are just starting out on their journey of occult, magic, and witchcraft. These advice are not for the experienced people as they are completely confident in their craft and know what to do and what not to do. Over the years, they have acquired experience of various aspects, and if an unwanted entity does show up, then they do have the experience and knowledge to deal with it. All of these advice are for the beginners who might not know what to do. And also, like if you're a solo practitioner and a beginner, then you might not even know whom to ask for help. So, these advice in this video is particularly intended for you folks. Remember one thing, on Halloween, the energy around us is supercharged. So, any magic that you cast, if there would be a rebound effect for it, which happens for any kind of magic, the better or worse it would return back to you supercharged as well. So, if you are casting any harmful or manipulative spells, you might find yourself facing the consequences in bigger ways. So, that's it for today's video, and in this video, we covered what kind of spells to avoid and not to do, especially if you're a beginner around Halloween. The spells that you can do instead involve protection magic, cleansing magic, journaling, expressing your gratitude towards the universe for all the gifts that the universe has bestowed in your lives. These magic are also powerful and safe to work with around the Halloween. With these, at least, you will not be opening any dangerous doors. So, my dear mystic souls, thanks a lot for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more occult wisdom and manifestation tips. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite spell for Halloween. And remember, stay safe and stay magical. I will see you again in my upcoming video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.